अबे अब इंटरनेट नहीं चल रहा, 70% फ्रेम ड्रॉप हो चुके हैं। सो वेलकम बैक गाइस, कैसे हो आप लोग? उम्मीद करता हूँ कि बहुत अच्छे से होंगे। वैसे मुझे पता है कि इंटरनेट का इशू है, इसलिए बफर हो रहा है, स्ट्रीम बहुत बफर हो रहा है। आई डोंट नो व्हाई बफर क्यों होता है, लेकिन हो रहा है ये। एक ही चीज़ आई एम थिंकिंग इज कि मैंने, और आप देख पा रहे होंगे तो मैं स्ट्रीम एचडी में कर रहा हूँ। सो दैट इज़ व्हाट आई एम थिंकिंग द प्रॉब्लम इज, क्योंकि टू बी ऑनेस्ट यहाँ पे ओवरलोड वगैरह लिख के नहीं आ रहा है कि ओवरलोड है आपका सीपीयू वगैरह एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ्स, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे इंटरनेट का है। आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स द इशू, लेकिन हाँ कुछ तो है कि इशू कुछ तो है हमारा। क्योंकि देखो वापस बफर हो रहा है इवन। सो दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम, बाकी कुछ नहीं गाइस। तो मैंने अभी इंटरनेट को जो है वो थोड़ा ये किया था।
As promised, the moon will be turning red. We're going to
I
get
mean to
a
say,
blood moon.
I
And
don't know आपको दिखा या नहीं दिखा,
that
क्योंकि
is because,
इंटरनेट का
in
क्या प्रॉब्लम है,
effect,
तो
when
जस्ट मैं
that much
मोबाइल
of
लेके भी
the
उसको
moon is covered,
फ्लाइट मोड पे डाल के
96%
वापस वो
of the
चीज़ की
moon's
एक बार मैंने, क्योंकि
surface is
थोड़ा
covered,
बहुत तो
we will
फास्ट
get
इंटरनेट
a
हो,
red
लेकिन
moon.
अब एक्चुअली
And
मेरे पास लैंड वगैरह नहीं है ना यहाँ पे, तो
we
वो
get a
एक
question a lot, like
है इशू।
99% cover for a total
सो
solar eclipse.
या एनीवेज देखो भाई, और क्या, जब तक इंटरनेट नहीं आ सकता तब तक मैं क्या कुछ नहीं कर सकता ना। मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि इंटरनेट जल्दी चले चले अच्छे से। सो तो आप देख ही सकते हो यहाँ पे क्या हाल है करके। ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, इनका ही सुनते हैं भाई।
Were passing through the moon's shadow in space. And to really get the full effect of a solar eclipse, that's when you really want totality. Because from our perspective on Earth, looking towards the moon and the sun, all the really magical stuff happens when the moon completely covers the face of the sun. That's when you get to see the solar corona pop out. That's when all the great stuff happens. Now, Anna, here we are, 2 weeks later. We have this alignment happening again, but this time we're in a different place. This time here we are on Earth. This time we are the body in the middle. We've got the sun on one side, we've got the moon on the other side. It's our shadow that we're seeing during this eclipse. That's Earth's shadow that we're seeing move across the face of the moon. So we're looking at it in a completely different way. And from this perspective, there's not much difference between a 96% partial and a 100% total eclipse. We're just talking about a little tiny sliver of the moon on the right hand side will be left uneclipsed by Earth's dark shadow. Now, Anna, if you were standing on the moon, then you would notice the difference. I mean, right now, if you were on the moon, if you were standing on the left side of the moon, you would be seeing a total solar eclipse. You'd see the Earth completely blocking the sun in the sky above you. If you were standing somewhere on the right-hand side of the moon, then you'd be seeing a partial solar eclipse. You'd be seeing the Earth blocking some of the sun, but not all of it.
Wow.
Now, as we look at it here from this perspective, you know, we can just enjoy seeing that, you know, that dark shadow move across the face of the sun, and whether it's covering 96% or whether it's covering 100%, you know, for us from here, it's not too much of a difference. But Anna, you would notice a difference if you were there on the moon. And if you were there on the moon and you were just in that little tiny slither that was uneclipsed at 96%, you would be once again, you know, wanting to get yourself
into the path of totality.
Into the path of totality on the moon's surface.
But for this one, there wouldn't be a path of totality because it is a 96% eclipse. It's not complete total. So it's not the Earth, Sun, Earth, and Moon aren't perfectly lined up.
Right, yeah. It's that the path of totality doesn't cover the entire moon's face here. So yeah, when we look at the dark side of the moon there, we're essentially looking at the path of totality as it moves across the moon. The point here is, as you say, it's not covering quite all of the moon. There's that little bit of the right edge of the moon is going to be left uneclipsed by that darker inner part of Earth's shadow.
And also, what I also love about lunar eclipses is that they're much more accessible. They can be seen on the nighttime side of Earth. So if it's dark and the moon is up and the clouds are gone, you can look up and you can see the moon. If you can see the moon, you can see this eclipse. And that means that
the area of the globe where the moon is above the horizon, so that's the light area in the middle of the map. So yeah, all of North America, all of South America have a good view of this eclipse at the moment, weather permitting. Once again, Europe and Africa, the moon is also above the horizon. But just a reminder, Anna, that this is a live map. The Earth is rotating, and that light area on the map where the moon is visible, that light area is slowly shifting to the left. So in Africa, in Europe, we're heading towards moonset. We're heading towards dawn on Friday morning. In North America, it's moving further into the light area. That means we're moving into evening. We're moving into Thursday night, and the moon is climbing higher in the sky. By the way, Anna, we should also just say that we did see earlier some of our first pictures from North America, from Moncton in Canada.
Yeah, we did.
That was Chris Kerwin and Mike Powell.
Managed to chase out the clouds.
Yeah, well done to them for finding some clear skies. They've been doing some heroic relocation to bring us those. We also saw some lovely images from Medellin in Colombia. They are coming from Andres Torres. And also the moon has risen in San Diego. We can see that the west coast of the US is now in that light area of the map. And so we're hoping to bring images from San Diego very soon.
Yeah, because the weather is okay there.
Yes.
As well. So here in Norway, if the weather was playing along and we'd had that clear weather we had last night, we were talking to local press here in Norway, and they were asking, how do we see this eclipse? And for those of you that are on the edge of the eclipse where the moon is setting and the sun is rising, it is good to go out now and have a look if you have clear weather, because it's going to be difficult to see the eclipsed moon close to the horizon. It's going to be very close to the horizon, and it's much, much, much darker, as we can see here already, than a normal full moon in the sky. So if you're lucky enough, go out and have a look. You can come back here and hang out with us as well. But it is worth taking a look. And okay, we're talking about this red, but then Thomas also talked about this blue turquoise band, this blue band that goes that also we can see. And he told us that conditions are very, very good to see the turquoise band this eclipse. So tell us a little bit more about why and how and all the things. Thomas explained it, but you know, we need things a few more times to get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we look at our image here coming in from Seville in Spain, you know, we can see that there's this light silvery side of the moon on the right, and then there's this, you know, dark black area on the left. It looks like that side of the moon has disappeared as it's got covered up by the dark part of Earth's shadow. In fact, it hasn't disappeared completely. It is there, it's just very faint. And when you see it contrasted against that brighter side of the moon, we really can't see anything there. No. In fact, it is still faintly lit because although Earth is putting itself between the sun and the moon, so it is blocking sunlight directly reaching that part of the moon, Earth does have an atmosphere, and that atmosphere glows when the sun lights it from behind, and it tends to glow a reddish color. So that dark half of the moon that we're looking at, it's not completely invisible. It's actually a very faint reddish color. We can't quite see it yet because that remaining silvery bit of the moon is just still too bright and it's creating too much of a contrast. But as the silvery bit gets less and less, and eventually it's only going to be 4% because that's the, you know, it's a 96% eclipse. At that point, it's going to allow us to see much more clearly.
And already looking at the screen there, if we're looking at that little image up in the corner there, that one's more exposed for the bright side of the moon, and you can actually see it kind of.
Well, you can, yeah. I mean, you can absolutely. You can actually see the circular disk of the moon there. So it hasn't disappeared completely. It is exactly as you say. It's just a faint reddish color. This blue color that Thomas was talking about is, I mean, there is a lot in Earth's atmosphere. So generally it's glowing red, but around the very edge of the Earth's atmosphere, there's also a bluish glow, which is coming from chemicals in the upper part of Earth's atmosphere. So that sort of dividing line between the dark side and the brighter side of the moon, there's actually blue light that is being streamed towards the moon there. Again, impossible to see here just because that bright side of the moon is just too bright and too dazzling. But as we get, you know, closer and closer to maximum eclipse, when we're just left with that sort of very faint sliver of brighter moon on the right hand side, that's when we might get a chance to see a little band of blue between that silvery edge and then the fainter reddish part of the moon. But again, it remains to be seen. It is tough to spot.
It is tough to spot, and it can be also, it's also got to do with the way that you've got your telescope set up. It's got a lot to do with all little bits and bobs that you need to adjust, and like I said, like the exposure, how you expose the light for your viewing the moon. So there's a lot of things that play in. So we just have to see if we can see it. Another reason to keep watching. We still have the red moon to look forward to. On timeanddate.com you can find more about this eclipse. You can also find out more about the turquoise band. We've got our interview with Thomas there as well, so just go in and have a look. And you know, there's a lot of other things happening in the night sky. Well, in the northern hemisphere we're really moving into the dark season here, so we're focusing on all the beautiful bright spots in the night sky that we can take a look at. So stay put. We're going to be back soon with more images and more commentary and more interviews, and we will see you back here soon.
ओके सो गाइज, जैसे कि आपने अभी ये सब सुना और एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ्स, और जो है वो थोड़ा अभी आपको नॉर्मलाइज भी लग रहा होगा इन द टर्म्स ऑफ स्ट्रीमिंग, बिकॉज मेरी स्ट्रीम जो है वो अब नॉर्मल हो रही है, क्योंकि बिट रेट का इशू था जो सॉल्व हो चुका है लगभग। एक सेकंड में एक बार प्ले करके देखता हूँ मेरी खुद की स्ट्रीम। यस 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 यस, कुछ इतना जनरल प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सो हाँ, यस, नॉट अ बिग और अ जनरल प्रॉब्लम। वैसे गिव मी, मुझे भी देखने दो गाइस, मैंने देखा भी नहीं है। हाँ, तो आपके राइट हैंड साइड पे जो है वो स्पेन से फीड है। स्पेन मतलब राइट हैंड साइड के टॉप कॉर्नर पे जो फीड है वो स्पेन से है, और सेंटर में जो है वो मून दिख रहा है वो कनाडा से है। तो दो जगहों से आपको फीड इस समय मिल रही है। सो या, वेल, सो और कुछ फीड्स हमें मिल रही है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट। लेट अस सी दैट फीड। एक फीड स्पेन से है, मतलब जो राइट हैंड पे सबसे टॉप पे फीड दिख रही है वो स्पेन से, उसके नीचे वापस वही कनाडा वाली है, और सेंटर में भी वही स्पेन वाली। सो इन टोटल ऑल दिस थिंग्स, ये चीज़ें हैं फिलहाल। सो सही लग रहा है वैसे आज का ये जो है, आई मीन टू से आज का जो पार्शल, ये एक्चुअली मैं पार्शल नहीं बोलूँगा, ये ऑलमोस्ट टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स है, क्योंकि अगर आपने इसका देखा होगा तो आई वोंट से इट एज एन पार्शियल इक्लिप्स। रीजन इज अगेन अगेन द सेम, विच इज कि मतलब लगभग ही इक्लिप्स है यार ये, लगभग इक्लिप्स है। सो यू कांट नेम इट लाइक समथिंग डिफरेंट ना, जो है वो है। ओके, सो यू कैन सी अभी वो रेडिश ह्यू या रेडिश टिंट जो है वो आने लगा है हमारे इस इन शॉर्ट मून पे। वो जो टिंट या वो जो ह्यू आता है रेडिश कलर का, वो आना शुरू हो चुका है। वैसे ये जो रेडिश ह्यू या रेडिश टिंट जो अभी दिख रहा है, आई गेस ये पूरा रेड हो जाए, पूरा मतलब आई वोंट से पूरा, क्योंकि इट इज अ पार्शियल इक्लिप्स, तो पार्शियल इक्लिप्स में पूरा मून रेड नहीं होता। अप टू पूरा रेड हो सकता है, अप्रोक्सीमेटली 96%, 95-96%। सो लेट्स सी हाउ इट गोज, क्योंकि अभी तो वैसे टू बी ऑनेस्ट अभी तो इक्लिप्स शुरू हुआ है, लेकिन बात वही है कि लोकेशन अलग हो सकती है। आई मीन टू से अलग लोकेशन से अलग अलग दिख सकता है। सो वी आर नॉट लाइक कि हाँ इस मतलब यही दिखेगा या ऐसा ही दिखेगा। फिलहाल मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स की तरफ हम बढ़ रहे हैं। जो कि ओके, फिलहाल हम मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। प्रोबेबली अभी टाइम 3 2 4 कितने हैं, आई कांट सी द टाइमिंग यहाँ पे। या 3:40 हो रहे हैं और 4:12 पर मैक्सिमम है एज पर डेटा। ओके, सो कोलंबिया से भी एक फीड है, फिर स्पेन से तो है ही है, फिर कनाडा से भी है। सो हाँ, कोलंबिया वाली फीड आप देख सकते हो सबसे टॉप पे है। अरे यार ये बफर थोड़ा बफर हो रहा था। we are near, भाई हम काफी नजदीक है हमारे मैक्स इक्लिप्स से, लेकिन यार ये इशू परसिस्ट कर रहा है। पिछली बार भी था यार ये प्रॉब्लम।
This is timeanddate.com, and you are watching the final eclipse of 2026. It is a very deep partial lunar eclipse. Checking on our timeline on the left-hand side of the screen, maximum eclipse is at 0412 UTC. So that's around about 25 minutes from now. That's when that darker side of the moon is going to be covering 96% of the moon's disk. That's as deep as we get tonight. On the screen at the moment, we have in our main image, coming from the Time and Date Mobile Observatory in Seville, in Spain. This is Stefan Thorsen and Konstantin Bikos. Anna, there we can see, we've got that little sort of brighter part of the moon still on the right-hand side, but now the left side of the moon, we can start to see now that it's got that distinctive reddish tint.
Yes.
That we can see during a deep lunar eclipse. In the top right corner, we have an image there coming in from Medellin in Colombia. That's Andres Torres. Anna, it's looking different to the moon in Seville because it's looking at it from a different part of the world.
Exactly.
It's looking at it from closer to the equator. It's also a different time of night there. Here in Europe, in Spain, where the moon is heading down towards the horizon. In Colombia, it's still the middle of the night and the moon is much higher in the sky. Also, we have their picture coming in from Moncton in New Brunswick, Canada. That is Chris Kerwin and Mike Powell. And in both those images, we can just see that we've just got that little, that small sliver of brighter moon that will be getting slowly thinner and thinner over the next 20 minutes.
And you might have noticed that they're fine tuning their exposure. They're trying to kind of keep it so that we can see the eclipse. So they're really working hard there in the background for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So Colombia is in a great position for tonight's lunar eclipse because it is the middle of the night. The moon is really nice and high in the sky. The challenge with Colombia, we always knew this, of course, is that they do have a lot of clouds in that part of the world. And we're so happy that we've got these wonderful clear skies in Medellin. Other parts of Colombia, it's more of a battle against the clouds, including in Bogota, where they're fighting the clouds there. And to hear all about this, we're going to go and have a chat now with Maria Gracia Batista. She's at the University of the Andes in Bogota. And okay, there she is on the screen now. Hi.
How are you guys? Very happy, very honored to be here with you.
Very, very nice to have you. And how is the eclipse going? Have you been able to see the moon a bit? And how, and where are you at the moment? And your backdrop is amazing. It looks like you're in an observatory there.
Thank you. Well, right now I'm streaming from the Astronomical Observatory of the Universidad de los Andes here in Bogota, Colombia, not Colombia, by the way. It's a very common confusion. And well, let me introduce you. The most important thing here, and of course not me, is the telescope.
Wow.
It's the third biggest one in the country. Is a 16-inch telescope which is not that big, of course, comparing with other telescope around the world. But here in Colombia, the clouds and especially the seeing, the thermal stability of the atmosphere is not that good for having telescope of meters of diameter. So for our condition, 16 inches like good enough. Higher than that, bigger than that, we will need other optical instrument for
Yeah.
compacting the images. So it won't worth it.
No.
Yeah.
And yes, I've been able to see the moon like a few seconds around, and then it's cloudy again. So the battle
Oh,
that you mentioned,
yeah.
just too accurate.
Fingers crossed that it'll clear up around Max.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
my feet
Yeah,
are
fingers.
already crossed already.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Maria, we've all been following the recent terrible news that's been coming out of Colombia. Could you tell us a little bit about how you and your colleagues across the country have been responding to the recent earthquakes?
Thank you for asking, Graham. And well, the situation was very hard for us because, well, at least here in the capital in Bogota, it was just, the we were scared, the surprise of the situation, but we didn't struggle that much with damage in buildings and with houses. But in other places in Colombia, they took the worst part. I mean, the coffee region is really very damaged. Many people right now without their homes, with our school, with our places, markets and universities. So in here, all everything is like going on like every day, but in those places it's like time just stuck, and they are trying to um, you know recovering and start new, start over. And that's something that we try with astronomy, with the outreach, try to share, like with this lunar eclipse and with other activities, like uh, beside the sad situation, still something pretty, something nice to think about, something to be amazed with the sky. So we use astronomy as a tool for have better thoughts and better feelings about what is happening.
Yeah, yeah, that's a beautiful message.
It is, and it's something that we also find that it's very unifying, and to have this all looking up at the sky. So it's important to have these things in tough times. It's what a beautiful way to put it, Maria. Yeah. And
Thank you.
you were talking about outreach, Colombian Astronomy Network. You've been doing amazing work for more than 20 years. And what are your favorite projects?
Well, I only have been part just half of that time, but still, in those 10 years, I'm very happy with how fast we have been growing, how strong the community have become, because we have been trying to focus to approach this outreach to work in the hand with the professors, with the teachers in different schools and university, try to settle new science clubs, so the students to get involved, because in here in Colombia, astronomy is not part of the main education program. So professors try to introduce astronomy in their subjects, and that's something that is very helpful because astronomy is very pretty, very interesting, very is part of the movies, is part of the books, is part of the news, with everything that is going on, with Artemis and with other um, lunar programs. So it's a good tool for the kids to relate science with something funny, with something friendly, something close, because normally science is like very scary, like it's very hard to understand with equations, with the numbers, something that they don't want to get involved with. So astronomy is a good tool to link different part of the science, and of course art. And I'm not able to connect with kitchen. That's the only thing with gastronomy. But besides that, I think astronomy can be linked with almost everything, and that's what we do. And of course, with outreach, on the streets, yeah, sharing the telescopes, the binoculars, the talks, visiting. So people don't only have to go to the planetaries or come to the universities, to the observatories. So we go outside and share the what we know about astronomy, and of course those topics with is related with the university, so people can see the channel from the schools to do investigation, to do the research in a professional way. So last year we started with a PhD here in Colombia. So the message is that you don't have to leave your country if you want to become a professional astronomer here in Colombia.
Wow.
That's great, and that's another super inspiring message there. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Maria, thank you so much for having a chat with us tonight.
Thank you.
We're keeping everything crossed that you're going to get a break in the clouds. We're about 15 minutes away from maximum eclipse, so that's roughly the halfway point in tonight's eclipse. It's roughly the halfway point in our broadcast. We still have another 2 hours to go. So Maria, we are determined that we're going to bring some of your telescope images to the screen
of course.
Before then. For now, we can see there, right, Moncton, Canada in the top right, Seville, Spain in the main image. We can see that, the moon is turning a kind of a very dull reddish color there. Anna, when we come back, we're going to be having a chat with Constantin Bikos, who is on the ground there in Seville, and he can tell us a little bit more about how the colors that he's seeing from on the ground there. But we still have 2 hours coming up, so don't go anywhere. Keep watching us. And Maria, thank you so much again for that great interview.
Thank you, guys.
And hey, we will be back soon.
गाइस, कोलंबिया में लगभग अभी वो टिंट काइंड ऑफ जिसकी मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, वो रेड कलर, रेडिश कलर अभी थोड़ा तो है उन लोगों ने सेल्फी लिया, कैमरा का थोड़ा बदल दिया, लेकिन दिख रहा था। स्पेन में देखिए आप, थोड़ा कनाडा ऊपर और है, सो हाँ ठीक है, कंसिडरेशन का इसमें। ओके, सैन डिएगो से भी आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे, जो आपके स्क्रीन पे इस समय जो है वो सैन डिएगो से यहाँ पे फीड है। सैन डिएगो से फीड इस समय आपके स्क्रीन पर है, वो जो बड़ा मून दिख रहा है वो सैन डिएगो से ही है। सो हाँ ठीक ही है, लाइक सैन डिएगो से रेडिश टिंट या जो भी रेडिश कलर है वो ठीक लग रहा है। उसके बाद कनाडा भी है, स्पेन में अभी आई गेस 4:05 हो रहे हैं और 12 मिनट, मतलब लगभग 6-7 मिनट में अभी मैक्स की तरफ हम बढ़ेंगे, जो कि पार्शियलिटी मैक्स पे होगी तब। तो आप लोग देख ही सकते हो यहाँ पे 4:07 हो रहे हैं और 4:12 पर मैक्स यहाँ पे जो है वो होगा। यूरोप में अभी भी कुछ कुछ स्टेट्स में जो है वो आई गेस रात ही है। स्टेट्स बोल रहे थे या कंट्रीज में यूरोप के। खैर so we are about 4:09 हो चुके हैं। इसका टाइम 12 बजे 4:12 बजे जो है मैक्स पार्शियलिटी होगी। लेट्स सी अब। और मैं इसकी बात कर रहा था, आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे ये 95% जो है वो कवरेज हो चुका है टोटल इसका। हमारे मून का तो इसे तुम ऑलमोस्ट जो है वो बोल सकते हो कि ऑलमोस्ट टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स है ऑलमोस्ट। नेक्स्ट इक्लिप्स अब कितना 4-5 महीने बाद आएगा, क्योंकि अब ये 28 अगस्त। नेक्स्ट इक्लिप्स फरवरी में होगा। हाँ देखिए, मतलब 5 महीने विदाउट इक्लिप्स के जाने वाले हैं, क्योंकि आज है अगस्त, तो सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी में इक्लिप्स होगा। जो नेक्स्ट इक्लिप्स है वो होगा 6 फरवरी 2027 को। और यहाँ पे गाइस मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स लगभग ख़त्म हो चुका है, क्योंकि 4:14 हो रहे हैं और 2 मिनट बाद, मतलब 2 मिनट हो चुके हैं मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स को, क्योंकि 4:12 पर मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स होना था और अभी 4:14 हो रहे हैं। और इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम के हिसाब से 9:42 पर जो है वो मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स हो रहा था, अभी 9:44 हो रहा है। सो यहाँ पे हो चुके हैं।
You're watching almost a total lunar eclipse here on timeanddate.com. We have just passed maximum, and you know, if you feel like you missed it, you haven't. It's a gradual thing. We're looking at it. We're looking at what it's going to be looking at for a little while the Earth's inner dark shadow moves away from the moon's surface again. We're looking at a beautiful image here from San Diego in the US, from Gary from the San Diego Astronomy Association, and he's got that, the moon's kind of brownish there as well, so it seems to be a browny red moon this time.
Yeah, I mean, just a reminder there that we're looking at 3 images there from San Diego, from Seville, from Moncton. We are all looking at the same eclipse. This is the same bit of the Earth's shadow on the same bit of the moon's face. We are seeing slightly different shading. That's because we're using different equipment at different locations. It's because the moon is at a different height in the sky. The atmospheric conditions are different. We're also seeing a different orientation there. We get that because people are looking at the moon from different perspectives on the Earth. I mean, Seville and San Diego, they're both in the northern hemisphere, but we can see that the orientation of the moon is different. That's because in San Diego it's Thursday evening and the moon is rising. In Seville in Spain it's early Friday morning and the moon is setting, and as the moon travels across the sky it kind of rotates above us. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of there's a lot of good astronomy on the screen here.
Definitely a lot of good astronomy on the screen, and it just shows that even though we're looking at the same moon, it can look slightly different, but we're looking at the same event at the same time, which is kind of nice and warm and fuzzy, I reckon. Here in Stavanger, the skies are really brightening, and I'm seeing some beautiful sunrise colors already on the sky. I did see a little break in the clouds, and I ran out to see if I could see something, but the break was in the wrong spot. So good call for us for cancelling Ada and her mobile observatory here in Stavanger. Sunrise is in about 15 minutes here in Stavanger, and also pretty close to sunrise in Spain, a little bit later than here, and we're going to be talking to Constantine Bicos in our mobile observatory in Seville in Spain. I managed to say it. So Constantine, see if we can get him. There he is. Hello, Constantine.
Hello, Graham.
Hey. So it's 6:15 in the morning local time, and you and Stefan have been doing another night shift, and how are you guys? How are you doing? How are you holding up?
Well, I guess we're running on fumes and energy drinks as always these trips. We had a really tight schedule this time. Not a lot of sleep, a lot of running around and driving around, obviously. And even now, we're struggling and fighting to get you those pictures. We had some trouble with connectivity. To send you the pictures basically to the main studio, and there's always something to be done, and we're getting a little bit tired now as well, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great adventure as always.
Yeah, I mean, you and Stefan have been on an epic eclipse chase in recent days. I mean, we normally associate eclipse chasing with a solar eclipse, where you just have to get to the right bit of the globe to see it. I mean, a lunar eclipse, it's visible from anywhere on the nighttime side of Earth. So in theory, it should be a lot simpler to catch. But I mean, there are other factors at play, and you and Stefan have had a bit of a struggle with this one.
Yes, lunar eclipses being easier is the theory. That's the operative word here. So I think here in Seville, in beautiful Andalusia, Spain, it's probably the only cloudless area in Western Europe at the moment. We really had a hard time this time finding that tiny gap in the clouds here in Europe. So what we normally do when we plan these trips is we look at the data of the eclipse itself, obviously where it is visible. We had to go as far west as possible in Europe without having to leave the continent, obviously, to be able to see the full eclipse before the moon sets. So that kind of limited us already a little bit. And then we looked at the Western Europe, the cloud cover. That we have data on timeanddate.com, also for our users to see in the eclipse maps. You can see where it's most likely to be clear skies, and we all of that pointed to Portugal, which has not a lot of cloud cover normally, but the weather gods were against us this time, so we booked our flights to Portugal, but then it was clear from when the first reliable weather forecast started to tick in that it's not going to be the place to be, unfortunately. We would have liked to stream it from Portugal. So we flew to Lisbon, but had to go on another, as always, another big long road trip. And we ended up we found this tiny gap in the clouds here in Seville, and it's holding up for now. So well done to the weather forecasters. Yeah, it was reliable, but at the same time, the clouds are moving towards the east all the time, and lunar eclipse takes such a long time. So we had to find a place where the whole eclipse for several hours will be visible. And we're still hoping that the new cloud front doesn't move in before the end of the eclipse. It's looking good for now.
Yeah, I'm exhausted listening, just listening to all that. Wow.
And as you say, there's always that weighing up between theory and practice. Like in theory, this is easier. In practice, it's different. And in theory, you have an hour and a half ago or so until the moon sets. In practice, it's going to get lighter. There might be something on the horizon. What is your in practice situation where you are?
Yes, that's a good point. We have quite sophisticated data and instruments that allow us to plan the location, the actual location of the where we stream from. But what we can't plan for is the obstacles in the immediate vicinity of where we are. That's impossible to plan. So we can't plan for trees. And there's a big tree actually in our line of sight. So I think we will lose sight of the moon a little bit earlier than we had hoped, but maybe 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, we're still going to see nearly to the end.
Oh, that's good. And another theory and practice thing is like the color of the moon, because we're looking at San Diego's moon here on the screen, and it's kind of brown, red, rusty, kind of almost not red, like it's very brown. And we're looking at a very silvery, almost purpley kind of moon from Spain there. So, but when you've been outside and looked up, what color do you see?
Yes, good question. The picture you see from here, from Seville, in the corner there, is a little bit. We try to get out the colors a little bit more, so we expose it a little bit more. It's actually similarly to the eclipse earlier this year when we were in California. It's actually looks very, very dark. It looks a little bit more like the San Diego picture. So and also because you have that sliver of really bright light at the edge, the dark side looks even darker now. So you can hardly actually see it in the sky. It looks very, very dark brownish.
Wow. Well, then it's quite accurate. But what Gary's getting us there from San Diego.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's always different when you look at it yourself, and you can kind of see everything at the same time. With the telescope, you have to decide how do you want to expose, and how do you and where do you want to put your focus. So it changes the way that the moon looks. So if you had a chance, I see that you're inside now, but I'm assuming you're outside monitoring the telescope most of the time, Constantine.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, we had to go inside for the interview because we're in a residential area and people are still sleeping around us. So I think we can see it.
That's very considerate of you. Well, we are moving into the second half of this eclipse. We're past max. The Earth's dark inner shadow is going to move away from the moon. And yeah, so there's still some show to go, an hour and a half-ish.
And we're going to be talking to Gary Hawkins in San Diego next. So we can also get a naked eye report from on the ground in San Diego.
Yeah. So we will be back here very soon. Go to timeanddate.com and take a look at what we have there. And thank you, Constantine, for braving yourself in and talking to us this morning.
Thank you. Nice to talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
It's 4:37 sorry 4:27 37 बोल रहा था 4:27 सुबह के ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं. यहाँ पे नहीं, आई मीन टू से दूसरी जगह पे. और आप मून को देखिए, मैक्सिमम था अभी, मैक्सिमम जो है वो निकल के कम, आई मीन टू से अभी इक्लिप्स खत्म होके टुवर्ड्स रेस्ट जा रहा है अब. सो जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो 4:45 यहाँ पे जो है वो हो रहे हैं एंड सैन डिएगो से ये फिलहाल इमेज आपको मिल रही है। वैसे ये क्या बोल रहे हैं वो सुनते हैं एक बार।
Diego Astronomy Association. David's next to me. And this is kind of amusing, right? The telescope is about 25 feet away from where I am. But because of what I do these days in terms of science, I'm actually remoting into that scope. So I can't actually see the moon unless I get up, walk into the living room, and stare out through the door. So I'm only seeing what's on the screen at the moment. But when I have gone out, it's kind of fairly similar to what we're showing. There's a reddish hue on the dark side. We're kind of overexposing on the bright side at the moment.
Oh no. Oh, I think we lost him.
It looks like we've lost Gary in San Diego there. We'll just see if we can get him back.
Yep.
This is story of modern day astronomy here. He's not actually outside.
No.
Peering into a telescope eyepiece. He's inside running everything remotely, and then he's actually got to walk outside to go and see the moon. But interestingly, yeah, his report on how it was actually looking in the sky was sounding similar-ish to Konstantin's comments about how it was looking from on the ground in Spain.
And you can really see that up in the corner there from Seville, Spain. You can see the red brownish side of the moon there, and then that bright sliver of normal full moon, we can say, when the Earth's shadow is moving off the moon's surface, as we can see there.
Yeah.
And there we've got Gary back. Gary, are you with us again?
It appears so. We appear to get blocked in the video feed there for a couple of seconds.
Excellent. Well, you're back, and that's great. And by the way, we were also.
Oh, and he's gone. Oh, it's.
You know what we're going to do? We're gonna go away, and we're gonna figure out what's happening with the connection through to California there, and then we're gonna come back momentarily, and we're gonna continue the interview with Gary. So we'll be back super shortly, and in the meantime, just enjoy that beautiful image of the moon from Gary's telescope in San Diego in the main screen, and we'll be back very shortly.
eclipse here on timeanddead.com, and we've had a few hiccups with our connection there with Gary Hawkins, and he's back finally. And we were talking about what the moon looks like in the sky, and you were telling me that you had to go outside because you have a remote setup, and you told us a little bit about what the moon was looking like. But let's just recap that, since we had all the fiddly bits in between.
Yes, so we started the evening with cloud. You can probably tell from my feed that's sitting in the top corner there that we've got cloud coming back through again. But in the period in between when we were at maximum eclipse, we were seeing a nice image of the moon, a nice red glow on the dark side, and somewhat overexposed even with the eye on the bright side of the moon. Yeah. So it was quite pretty here for about an hour, but as you can see, it's kind of got a bit smudgy again.
Yeah. By the way, we were also interested to know that your colleague from the San Diego Astronomy Association, Dave Decker, is there helping you with the stream tonight. That's Dave great, Anna.
Right next to me.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Well, do say hi. Yeah. Anna and I caught up with Dave at the in Texas.
Yeah.
At the
Great American Eclipse.
At the Great American Eclipse. So yeah, hi Dave. And now, I mean, Gary, when you're not streaming eclipses, your main interest in astronomy these days is to do with red dwarf stars. So what are those exactly?
Yeah, so I guess for about the last 3 years now, I've been involved with a group called the Red Dwarf Group. We look at red dwarf stars. A red dwarf is a fairly cool star, and actually about 75% of the stars in our Milky Way are red dwarf stars. So they're the most the star type that you see the most in the sky. And some of these stars are actually really interesting because of their fast rotational period. That creates a lot of magnetic stress in the chromosphere, and then that creates stellar flares. And so if you are a exoplanet orbiting one of these red dwarf stars, you're going to be affected by the flares kind of in the same way that we are affected by solar flares coming from the sun. The big difference, though, is that the type of flare that we can see on a red dwarf star is significantly larger than anything that you will see coming from the sun. To give you an example, last year, so 2025, we probably viewed the largest ground-based, it was probably the observation of the largest ground-based flare for a flare star. And basically within the period of about 3 minutes, the star increased in brightness associated with the flare by 67 times. Wow. Now, if you were obviously on the Earth and, the sun suddenly increased in magnitude 67 times, I think it would be a pretty dramatic event. And that's what makes the study of this type of star really interesting, because if there are exoplanets, particularly if they sit within the Goldilocks zone, then there's obviously the possibility of life. And so we're, basically the studies are all about looking at how life might survive in that type of environment.
Yeah. And the red dwarf group that you coordinate, this is a network of astronomers gathering data and observing these stars.
Yeah, so the Red Dwarf Group was formed back in 2021 and initially run by Bob Buckheim. Bob ran the group for about 2 and a bit years. And then I took over and I've been running the group since then. We have about, at any given point in time, probably about 20 active members, mainly observing from the US and Europe. We do actually have one observer at the moment who's got a remote site down in Chile. And we spend hundreds of hours of observing time looking at these red dwarf stars. And in particular, two. This time of year, our favorite star is a star called EV Lactera, more commonly known as EV Lac. And then in the winter period, we tend to look at a star called AD Leo. These are both very active flare stars. And to give you an example, my observatory actually runs completely autonomously. The observatory opens up when it gets dark. It will be on that star all night, probably imaging about once every 30 seconds. We collect thousands of images over that period of time and then do the analysis to see if we picked up flares. And then we might have 10, 15 scopes doing that, across the US and European theaters at any given time. We're mainly an amateur group, but we are actually also working with the University of Colorado at the moment and Rice University. We've worked with Arizona State University in the past, and we definitely like to take the opportunity to work with, some of our colleagues in the academic space as well, because obviously they can bring a lot of knowledge to the table, particularly on the physical aspects of what we're actually observing.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I think that, our project is kind of interesting is the academic observers, they can't dedicate hundreds and hundreds of hours of observing time to look at these stars. They will look at the stars for a couple of nights and hope that they capture something interesting. There are, of course, space-based telescopes such as TESS that will look at these stars for 27-day periods. And they'll collect data in for that 27 days, which is a lot of data, but it's still a small block. Whereas we're able to collect data for, over multiple years. And that allows us to look at things like, do these flare stars exhibit similar sunspot cycles to what we see on the sun? Are there minimum and maximum? And so that requires long-term study. So yeah, it's a fascinating project. If anybody is out there listening and they want to get involved in the citizen science side, look up the Red Dwarf Group, particularly through the AAVSO, which is the American Association of Variable Star Observers, and get in contact with me, and we'll be happy to have you on board.
Well, that's a great message to put out, and and that is fascinating work. And Anna, it is amazing. Astronomy is one of those branches of science where the amateur sector does such amazing work and makes such important contributions to the field.
And I do think that eclipses do the same, like especially the solar eclipse we had a couple of weeks ago. I can imagine reaching a whole new audience of young, aspiring astronomers getting excited about what's happening in the sky. And I've been super excited about this eclipse season. It's really fun to have one where you can get a total solar eclipse and such a deep lunar eclipse as this, having two very good eclipses in the same season. And I'm also super excited about eclipses to come in the next couple of years. We're in a run of solar eclipses at the moment. We've got an annular eclipse and a total solar next year, and it goes on and on. And you can check out all those eclipses on timeanddate.com. You can go in and see eclipses way into the future, like way past my lifespan at least. We're also going to talk a little bit about upcoming eclipses when we get back. Thank you so much, Gary, for hooking up with us and telling us all about the moon and about the red dwarfs. And we will be back soon.
Yes.
So बैक अगेन, वापस आ चुका हूँ मैं। फिलहाल तो मैक्सिमम इक्लिप्स खत्म हो चुका है एंड वी आर मूविंग आउट टुवर्ड्स द एंड, एज वेल एज जैसे अभी ये लोग बात कर रहे थे कि एमेचर जो एस्ट्रोनॉमर्स है वो काफ़ी मदद करते हैं। इवन इन इंडिया ये चीज़ें थोड़ी कम है, लेकिन जितनी भी है थोड़ी बहुत तो मदद करते ही है ये लोग भी। अभी मैं पर्टिकुलरली लोगों को पॉइंट आउट नहीं करूँगा कि कौन है वो, लेकिन है काफ़ी अच्छे लोग हैं विद दैट पर्टिकुलर, जो भी उनके पास है, लाइक यू नो दैट टेलीस्कोप्स एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। सो सही है। वेल अभी जैसे ये बात कर रहे थे इसके बारे में, हमारे रेड ड्वार्फ्स के बारे में, well, तो डिपेंड करता है हर एक बंदा, लाइक हर एक पर्सन, क्योंकि वो कुछ ना कुछ स्टडी कर ही रहा है। कुछ रेड ड्वार्फ पे कर रहा है, कुछ प्लैनेट्स पे कर रहा है, कुछ कुछ यू नो इंटरस्टेलर स्पेस पे कर रहा है। सो डिपेंड्स ऑन what the person is studying even currently। अभी हमने जैसे देखा एक हफ्ते पहले, हमने देखा टोटल सोलर इक्लिप्स हो रहा था। अभी हम देख रहे ऑलमोस्ट लूनर इक्लिप्स हो रहा है, मतलब लगभग ही टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स है ये। तो ये हो गया। फिर जैसे मैंने कहा 5 फरवरी को, 5 या 6 फरवरी 2027 को जो है वो लगने जा रहा है भाई साहब, एन्यूलर सोलर इक्लिप्स। सो एन्यूलर सोलर इक्लिप्स भी है। फिर काफी सालों बाद पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स लगेगा, और वो पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स इंडिया में लगेगा, एंड दैट इज व्हाई आल्सो इट मेक्स द फरवरी इंटरेस्टिंग। उसके बाद वापस एक एन्यूलर लूनर इक्लिप्स होगा साल के अगेन सेम इसी वीक, इसी मंथ में होगा, अगस्त सितंबर में, लेकिन वो 2027 में होगा। और फिर वापस एक पार्शियल लूनर इक्लिप्स होगा। सो ये चीज़ें होने वाली है, मज़ा आएगा इन चीज़ों को देखने के लिए। वेल अभी आप देख सकते हो आपके स्क्रीन पे जो सबसे बड़ा मून है वो, मतलब वो जो फ्रेम है वो फ्रेम स्पेन से है। आई मीन टू से वो फ्रेम स्पेन से कैप्चर किया है। राइट हैंड साइड पे टॉप जो है वो सैन डिएगो यूएस से वो फ्रेम है। उसके नीचे माउंटेन कनाडा से वो एक दूसरी फ्रेम है। सो कुल मिला के यहाँ पे 3 अलग अलग फ्रेम्स आपको यहाँ पे दिख रहे हैं। एंड आपकी जो राइट हैंड साइड पे सबसे नीचे है वो मूनलाइट मैप। आपको नाम मतलब यू कांट रीड द नेम दो क्योंकि वो ओवरलैप में चला गया थोड़ा। मूनलाइट मैप में आप देख पा रहे होंगे कि मून की लाइट कहाँ कहाँ पे है। इंडिया तो रूल आउट हो गया है क्योंकि इंडिया में अभी सुबह के 10:39 हो रहे हैं। मीनवाइल अब थोड़ा शफल हो गया है। अब कनाडा माउंटेन से जो नो फ्रेम आ रही थी वो फ्रेम सेंटर में है। सैन डिएगो की फ्रेम सबसे टॉप पे चली गई और स्पेन की फ्रेम जो है वो मिडल में है इस समय। वैसे अभी की बात कर रहे हैं तो 7:09, सॉरी 5:09 अभी करंटली हो रहे हैं और 5:51 पे पार्शियल इक्लिप्स भी एंड हो जाएगा। या एंड मोर अभी और कुछ ऐसे मेरे को लगता नहीं कि कुछ चीजें बची है बताने के लिए। वैसे हाँ, ये जब अगर आपको याद होगा तो ये ओरिएंटेशन के बारे में बात कर रहे थे। लेट्स टॉक अबाउट ओरिएंटेशन क्योंकि आप जितने भी इमेजेस यहाँ पे देख रहे हो मून के, ये हर इमेजेस या हर फ्रेम्स अलग अलग ओरिएंटेशन में है क्योंकि अलग अलग जगह पे एटमॉस्फेरिक टेम्परेचर, एटमॉस्फेरिक जो चीज़ें हैं वो अलग है, टेम्परेचर अलग है वहाँ का। एंड दूसरी चीज़ जो है वो लोकेशन भी अलग है। सो दैट इज़ वाई आपको यहाँ पे अलग अलग ओरिएंटेशन में मून के फ्रेम्स यहाँ पे मिलेंगे, किसी एक ओरिएंटेशन में नहीं। एंड ऑल्सो द मेजर थिंग इज टाइप ऑफ कैप्चरिंग, क्योंकि कुछ टेलीस्कोप्स ऐसी भी होती जहाँ पे रिवर्टेड इमेजेस आपको देखने को मिलती, कुछ में नहीं मिलती, बिकॉज कुछ में अगर आप लाइक मतलब यू नो टेलीस्कोप में अगर आप जो है वो रिवर्टिंग आईपीस ना लगाए तो आपको रिवर्टेड इमेज देखने को मिलेगी, यदि आपके पास है तो यू नो आपको नहीं मिलेगी। दैट इज होल द पॉइंट इज। और अगर बड़ा टेलीस्कोप है इन द सेंस, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ग्रिफ्ट होगा शायद, या ग्रिफ्ट नहीं पता नहीं, ग्रिफ्ट ऑब्जर्वेटरी की भी स्ट्रीम कर रही थी, तो ग्रिफ्ट ऑब्जर्वेटरी का अगर आप देखो तो वो ऑब्जर्वेटरी है, तो वहाँ पे जो है वो अपसाइड डाउन और राइट टू लेफ्ट आपको वो इमेज देखने को मिलती है। सो हाँ, वो एक चीज है। सो इट इज ऑल्सो अ पॉइंट वेयर इट कम्स द इमेज की, हाँ इमेज उल्टी है या वो चीजें। सो वो भी एक पॉइंट आ जाता है। वेल व्हाट यू थिंक अबाउट ऑल दिस थिंग्स, कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताना लाइव में। वैसे अभी मैं पढ़ूंगा तो नहीं, लेकिन बता के रखना थोड़ी देर में, जब स्ट्रीम एंड हो जाएगी तब पढ़ दूंगा। आप ज़रा इसमें काम कीजिएगा, आप लोग इसमें बताना मेरे को, वो जो बॉक्स होता है ना कमेंट बॉक्स, उसमें लाइव चैट में मत बताना। आपके राइट हैंड साइड पे जो टॉप कॉर्नर पे टाइमिंग आपको दिख रहा है ना, वो इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड टाइम है, आईएसटी टाइम है। सो इट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द थिंग जो मैंने अभी ऐड किया मतलब पहले भी ऐड किया था, लेकिन पहले उसके साथ थोड़े इश्यूज चल रहे थे और जगह भी नहीं थी, तो सोचा कि क्यों ही ऐड करें, लेकिन अभी दिखी जगह तो सोचा देखते ही यहाँ पे कैसा दिखता है, सही दिख रहा था तो ऐड कर दिया यहाँ पे। वुड end around 5:51 UTC. So let's check. ओके 11:21 AM IST को खत्म होगा पार्शियल इक्लिप्स और फिलहाल 10:47 हो रहे हैं. ये एक अच्छा मुझे ये लगता है अभी जो कनाडा वाला जो पीओवी है
and like we're getting the Earth's shadow is moving away from the moon's face. Same in San Diego and same in Seville in Spain. So it's all coming to an end for this eclipse season. We learned that Constantine has a tree in his line of sight for the mobile observatory. So we're hoping to keep those images from Seville and Spain up running as soon as we can. We were talking to Gary in a break here, and he promised to keep his images running for as long as we needed them, because his moon is still moving up in the sky while the moon in Spain is moving down under the horizon. So yeah, same moon but different places on Earth. We're also coming to the end of this eclipse season. Eclipse seasons are only like 6 months apart, so we don't really have too long of a wait, and we are in a beautiful run of solar eclipses now. We had this wonderful one 2 weeks ago in Spain, and there are a couple more coming up, right?
That's right. So eclipses come in pairs. When we have a lunar eclipse like tonight, that happens at full moon. When we have a lunar eclipse, we will also find at a new moon next door, either the new moon before or the new moon after, we will find a solar eclipse. And as you say, Anna, this happens roughly 6 months apart. So roughly speaking, we have a couple of these eclipse pairs per year. And interestingly, that we see a shift in the balance of how the Earth, Moon, and Sun align. So if we have a really good solar eclipse, it tends to give us a not quite perfect lunar eclipse, just a partial solar eclipse somewhere on the globe. And yeah, we see that the balance kind of slowly shifts over a couple of years. And we are entering a couple of years where we do have a really good run of solar eclipses accompanied by not such deep lunar eclipses. So coming up 6 months from now, we have an annular solar eclipse. An annular solar eclipse is where the moon is a little bit further away from Earth. And so it's a little bit smaller in the sky. It's not big enough to cover the sun completely. So we're left with this sort of bright ring of sunlight around the dark moon. We have that on February 6th next year. The path of annularity, where you can see this ring of fire, as it's called, that is going to sweep across the southern bit of South America and then go across the Atlantic and just reach the west coast of Africa. Our good friend in Chile, Thomas Puzia, at the Institute of Astrophysics at PUC, there is we're hoping he's going to be able to put together an expedition.
He's already getting excited about that, so we're putting the pressure on so that Thomas can put together an expedition so he can catch the eclipse for us from Chile.
Exactly right. 6 months after that, on August 2nd,
off to Spain.
We're off to Spain again. This is another total solar eclipse. Here, the path of totality, it crosses the very southern tip of Spain, the northern bit of Morocco and North Africa. It then goes across Egypt and includes 6.5 minutes of totality near Luxor in Egypt. Really one of the big total solar eclipses of the century.
Yes.
6 months after that, going into 2028, we have another annular solar eclipse on January 26th. Here, the path of annularity, it goes across the northern bit of South America, and then it goes across the Atlantic, and it just reaches Europe, Spain again, that it just reaches before sunset, and the path of annularity comes to an end. And then 6 months after that, July 22nd in 2028, another total solar eclipse. This one is it's a big Australia and New Zealand show. The path of annularity going across Australia, including the city of Sydney, Australia, and then across to New Zealand, where the city of Dunedin will see totality. And for that one, we're going to be teaming up again with our old friend Matt Woods at Perth Observatory in Australia.
And he's been working with us, I don't know how many times now. So, but he's lining himself up there, right up with the eclipses, and we've got Matt right up there with the eclipses as well. And speaking of Matt, there's going to be a lunar eclipse after this run of solar eclipses. The balance is going to shift again just a little bit, and on New Year's Eve, we call it the New Year's blood moon already, in December 31st, 2028, there's going to be a big lunar eclipse again, and it's going to be seen in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. We have Matt Woods lined up for that as well. So lots and lots and lots of fun eclipses to come. And it sounds really far away and into the future, but suddenly they're there. Like, it just happens so quickly. And we are nearing the end of this eclipse, and that's why I like to comfort myself with all these other eclipses coming up. But as mentioned, time and date has all you need to know about eclipses coming up on our website. So go to timeanddate.com and take a look. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get all these events live from Graham and I here at the Time and Date studio, either out in the field or here in Stavanger HQ. And don't go anywhere yet, because we're going to pop up on your screen once more before the Earth's shadow has left the moon's surface. So we will see you soon.
ओके, सो ये लोग जैसे बात कर रहे थे अभी, एज उन लोगों ने कहा कि कब कब इक्लिप्सेस आने वाले होने वाले हैं। प्रोबेबली जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला था आपको, 5-6 फरवरी को एन्यूलर होगा। आई वॉज नॉट श्योर अबाउट टोटल इक्लिप्स, टोटल सोलर इक्लिप्स इन अगस्त 2 आई गेस। फिर उसके बाद एक टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स होगा जो कि 31 दिसंबर 2028 आई गेस। सो वो भी एक तगड़ा ईव है, हालांकि वो न्यू ईयर काफी दूर है वो, लेकिन है भाई, मजा आएगा उसमें भी न्यू ईयर के ईव पे। और दूसरी चीज एक है कि वो अपने 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 गौर किया होगा क्या, नहीं पता नहीं मेरे को, लेकिन एक इक्लिप्स उन्होंने बताया था, वो था 26 जनवरी को। 26 जनवरी को भी एक इक्लिप्स है और वो होगा 2028 में, विच इज ऑफ कोर्स द रिपब्लिक डे ऑफ इंडिया। तो रिपब्लिक डे पर भी वो इक्लिप्स एक होगा, हालांकि वो इक्लिप्स इंडिया से नहीं होगा तो ऑफ कोर्स। उसके बाद 22 जुलाई को भी उसी साल एक इक्लिप्स होगा। एंड द थिंग इज 22 जुलाई इज द birthday of course Chandrayaan 2, sorry, Chandrayaan 3. Nah, nahi, Chandrayaan 2, because Chandrayaan 2 was launched on 22nd July at 2:43 hours IST. So 22nd July is the birthday of Chandrayaan 2. So उस दिन एक हम इक्लिप्स देखेंगे। So there are plenty of eclipses, as we told earlier, and including the lunar and solar eclipses as well. And also we have a transit coming, Mercury transit. I don't know when the transit is there, but maybe somewhere in 2029 or 2032, approximately, there we have the transit as well. So it would be very interesting though to see a transit. So yeah. Now the next phase of the eclipse is like the end of partial eclipse soon, because वैसे भी 11 बज गए हैं और 11:21 को जो partial eclipse है वो खत्म हो जाएगा। Currently you can see we have Spain feed as a center, then we have a feed from Canada as well as the US too. So we have many feeds over here, live feeds, as well as the data itself. Okay, here we go with the daylight map, जो कि अभी आपके स्क्रीन के कॉर्नर में आपको दिख रहा होगा, राइट हैंड साइड पे। इंडिया लगभग मैप के एज पे जा चुका है। रीजन इज क्योंकि अभी इंडिया में नून होने ही वाला है, 11 बजे है, 1 घंटे में नून हो जाएगा। सो हाँ, दैट इज वाई द थिंग इज, उसके बाद वापस यहाँ पे रात हो जाएगी। वेल, उसके लिए भी टाइम है फिलहाल, plenty of time we have. Currently it's 11:02 and the clock is running. Now it's 11:03 guys, as you can see on your screen. Well, what a moment, yaar. What a pictures currently we are seeing here. मजेदार पिक्चर है भाई ये तो. And have आज है 28 by the end of this month. By the end of this month it means 31st August तक वापस अगले साल के सब एक्लिप्सेस की स्ट्रीम लाइक मतलब स्केड्यूल हो जाएगी. तो ध्यान रखना हमारे चैनल पे उसके लिए भी एक बार. हम एक बार टाइम एंड डेट पे चलते और आपको डिटेल में बताते कि कौन कौन से इक्लिप्सेस होंगे अगले साल. So yeah, here we go. First eclipse is on okay, 1 2 3 4 5. In total 5 eclipses, 5 eclipses है अगले साल 2027 में. और हम सब इक्लिप्सेस को स्केड्यूल कर देंगे उसकी स्ट्रीम. 6 फरवरी 2027 को एन्यूलर सोलर इक्लिप्स है. देन 20-21 फरवरी 2027 को पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स है, जिसकी की स्ट्रीम हम इंडिया से करेंगे क्योंकि हमारे पास टेलीस्कोप है, तो उससे भी हम स्ट्रीम करेंगे. फिर 18-19 जुलाई 2027 को ऑलमोस्ट लूनर इक्लिप्स है. It is not a lunar eclipse, but it is a almost lunar eclipse. Uh, let us go and check what would be the visibility for the almost lunar eclipse. Okay, according to our calculations, the event will not be visible from any location of the Earth. The moonlight world map shows where the moon is above the horizon during the alignment. Okay. So in this almost lunar eclipse, it would be not visible from Earth as well. In any place of Earth, though हम सिमुलेशन के हिसाब से सिमुलेशन के माध्यम से आपको दिखाएंगे कि कैसे ये होगा. फिर 2 अगस्त 2027 को टोटल सोलर इक्लिप्स है. ये सोलर इक्लिप्स जैसे इन्होंने कहा कि स्पेन वगैरह वहाँ पे होगा. फिर 16-17 अगस्त 2027 को वापस पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स हम देखेंगे. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो अ थिंग. फिर 2028 में सबसे पहला इक्लिप्स लगेगा, वो है 11-12 जनवरी 2028 को, जो कि होगा लूनर इक्लिप्स, पार्शियल लूनर इक्लिप्स. फिर 26 जनवरी को होगा, वो होगा सोलर इक्लिप्स, एन्यूलर सोलर इक्लिप्स. 6-7 जुलाई को जो है वो होगा पार्शियल लूनर इक्लिप्स. 22 जुलाई को जो इक्लिप्स होगा वो होगा टोटल सोलर इक्लिप्स. ये सब इक्लिप्सेस 2028 के हैं. एंड 30 सो ये सब इक्लिप्सेस जो मैंने अभी बताया आपको, ये इक्लिप्सेस 2028 के थे. उससे पहले के 2027 वाले थे, और अभी आगे 2029 वाले भी हैं. 29 वाले हैं, ये 30 वाले हैं. और ये 31 वाले भी है। बाय द वे 2032 में वो मर्क्यूरी का ट्रांजिट है जिसकी बात मैं कर रहा था, और 2032 में ही मेरे बर्थडे के दिन भी एक एन्यूलर, सॉरी, 2032 में ही मेरे बर्थडे के दिन एक टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स भी होने वाला है। सो वो भी एक इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट है। या interesting things are here, like likely to go. Let's see how it goes, by the way. ऐसी कुछ चीजें हैं जो मैंने कहा कि वो होगी, एंड उम्मीद करते हैं कि वो जल्दी हो। ये टाइम जो है ना, वो बड़े बड़े कमबख्त चीज है। कभी जल्दी निकल जाता है, कभी निकलता ही नहीं है। सो हाँ, लेट्स सी। और उम्मीद करते हैं जब अगला इक्लिप्स आएगा, जो कि फरवरी में इक्लिप्स होगा, 6 फरवरी 2027 को जब अगला इक्लिप्स होगा, उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप लोग जो भी देख रहे हो, या मेरे जितने भी सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं, वो अपने अपने लाइफ में कुछ अच्छा तब तक कर चुके होंगे या कर रहे होंगे। बाय द वे, ये क्लाउड्स आप देखो कैसे मून की तरफ आ रहे हैं, और अभी ये लोग कुछ कह रहे हैं, वो सुनते हैं पहले।
Cosmo told us all about it is happening. The tree that was in line of sight. These are the practical issues that you meet when you're live streaming any eclipse. There's you have to think about connection, you have to think about cloud cover, and then you have to predict where it's going to be good weather, and then you don't know, and you have to drive to it. So there's a lot of things going on, and now we can see that tree in the line of sight. So well done, Stefan Torsen and Konstantin Bikos, for getting us these beautiful, beautiful images of the lunar eclipse.
This is a great moon set.
Yes, moon setting into the tree. Bad luck to Ada Opperhau. She was supposed to be jotting about here in the Stavanger area, getting the eclipse from here near Stavanger and our time and date HQ. But speaking of time and date HQ, well done to the team in the room behind us. They have been working hard. We have had lots of issues tonight. I want to thank Ardian Rexai, Daniel Leland, Andy Ardner, Renata Mørland-Hus, Ina Maria Thorsen, Sarah Kornberg, Ellie Elliott, Anja Smith, and Adalbert Michelik. It's been a ride, this show. It's we said we were in for an easy one. Lunar eclipses are slow, but there's always stuff happening and stuff going wrong during lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. So yeah, but we've also got lots of partners to thank.
Yes. So, I mean, firstly, Anna, the feeds that we didn't see tonight because of clouds and because of rain. So Thomas Puzia and his team at the Institute of Astrophysics at PUC in Santiago in Chile. We didn't get a feed from Thomas, but we did get a very interesting interview about the colors of eclipses and about interstellar comets and all sorts there. Neil Sanders in the UK, who runs the amazing network Go Stargazing, he was all set up and ready to go in the north of England, but clouds and rain there. Our good friends at the Agda Astronomy Society, Steinar Tolvardsen and his colleagues there in Kristiansand, in the very south of Norway. Again, clouds and rain there. We've also been really battling the clouds in Colombia tonight. We've been working with Angela Perez and her colleagues at the Colombia Astronomy Network. And we always knew Colombia was going to be difficult in terms of clouds. We should say we're very fortunate that we did get some great images from Medellin. They came from Andres Torres at the Metropolitan Technological Institute in Medellin, and we really enjoyed some lovely images from there. Fortunately, we never quite got to see the images from Bogota.
No.
We had Maria Gracia Batista. She was at the University of the Andes in Bogota. But again, we did get to see Maria in her dome.
Yeah.
There with her, and we saw her telescope.
Yes.
We just, it was just too much cloud there. Also, Mario Vargas at the Orion Interstellar Camp in Huila, which is out in the Tatacoa Desert. Again, just a struggle, with the conditions tonight. As we really say goodbye to the moon there in Seville, really getting down into the tree.
We could see that on that wide feed there too. We got the moon hiding behind the tree.
Right. Yeah. That's what we're looking at. It does remind us actually just how quickly the moon and the sun do move across the sky. It never looks like they're moving, but when you see it at moonset, when you see it at sunset, it really does remind you that it's racing across the sky at a fair clip. Of course, we've also had some great success stories tonight in terms of the weather. We've got really lucky in San Diego, and we can see the beautiful moon from San Diego there. That's Gary Hawkins at the San Diego Astronomy Association, and thanks again, Gary, for the great chat earlier. And on the road in Eastern Canada, is Chris Kerwin and Mike Powell from the Sunday Night Astronomy Show on Chris's Astronomy by the Bay Facebook page. They really went eclipse chasing. They relocated about 100 miles from St. John in New Brunswick to a site near Moncton. And they've just come up on the main screen there.
They are.
And,
look at that.
Yeah, that's wonderful job there. So thank you to all of our partners for heroic battles.
Yes.
Tonight.
It really is, and we know all about it. So they're battling the cold, they're battling technical things. It's always something going on when we do these live streams. But that's it for 2026 eclipse wise. However, there's always interesting things happening in the night sky, and we have news stories that come out monthly on the Moon Guide and the Sky Guide, and I'll tell you what's going on, what kind of moon phase is happening. And I'm excited about is that the harvest moon and Saturn are going to have a close approach and rise together on the day of the harvest moon on September 26th. So I'm super excited about that. So thank you for watching this eclipse here on timeanddate.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to go in and take a look at timeanddate.com and bookmark us. And we are going to see you again next year.
ओके, तो यहाँ पे उनका तो हो गया, अभी वो थोड़ी देर में स्ट्रीम एंड करेंगे। हम भी थोड़ा आउट्रो देते हैं और स्ट्रीम एंड करने की अभी कोशिश करते हैं। वैसे आप देख ही सकते हो कि ये जो आप स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हो सैन डिएगो यूएस से है। ये वो सर है हॉकिंस, वो शेयर कर रहे हैं। फिर कनाडा से है, कनाडा वाली उन्होंने स्टोरी बताई थी कि 100 माइल्स उनको रिलोकेट करना पड़ा ड्यू टू रेन एंड अदर थिंग्स। कुछ चीज़ें, कुछ जगह ऐसी भी थी जहाँ पे दे वर फाइटिंग अ बैटल विद द एनवायरनमेंट एज वेल। टेम्परेचर काफ़ी ठंडा था, रेन था, क्योंकि वो मैडम जो पहले आई थी लाइफ में, आपने देखा होगा। तो उन मैडम के यहाँ पे काफ़ी बड़ा टेलीस्कोप था। ऑफ कोर्स वो ऑब्जर्वेटरी थी, हालांकि वहाँ पे क्लाउड्स का कवरेज ज़्यादा था, इसीलिए ऑब्जर्वेटरी होने के बाद भी हम मून को ऑब्जर्व नहीं कर पाए, एक फीड नहीं मिल पाई उनसे। लेकिन हालांकि उनसे हमने बात की तो एक बड़ी चीज़ वो थी। सो हाँ, काफ़ी चीज़ें हुई, काफ़ी बैटल्स भी देखे गए इस लाइव स्ट्रीम के माध्यम से। लोग कैसे बैटल करते हैं सिर्फ एक एक स्ट्रीम, एक फीड पहुंचाने के लिए, वो हमने देखा। सो इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें भी काफ़ी हुई आज। और जैसे कि आज का ये इवेंट था पार्शियल लूनर इक्लिप्स, हालांकि तो मैं उसे टोटल लूनर इक्लिप्स ही कहूँगा, क्योंकि ऑलमोस्ट ये जो आज का इक्लिप्स था वो टोटल इक्लिप्स था, क्योंकि 100% कवरेज मून का थोड़ा, मतलब 96-95% कवर हुआ। सो या, यू मे कॉल इट एज एन टोटल इक्लिप्स एज वेल। सो दिस इज व्हाट द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इसे इम्पोर्टेंट बनाता है, कि इट डजंट मेक सेंस दैट हाउ यू लाइक पुट इट ऑन इंटरनेट, बट इट मेक्स सेंस कि आप उसमें कितने एफर्ट्स लगाते हो। क्योंकि जैसे ये स्टोरी बता रहे थे अभी कि कहाँ पे कुछ ऐसे चल रहा था। सो या, इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। मीनवाइल स्पेन में अभी आपने देखा कुछ मिनट पहले, वहां पे मुझे क्लाउड लगा वो, लेकिन एक्चुअली वो क्लाउड नहीं था, वो एक पेड़ था पूरा। तो पेड़ के पीछे मून जो है वो सेट हो रहा था। तो वो शॉट भी काफी बढ़िया लगा कि मून के पीछे, सॉरी, पेड़ के पीछे मून सेट हो रहा है। सो वो भी एक इंटरेस्टिंग सी चीज थी। बाय द वे, ये चीजें भी काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होती है जनरली। बट द थिंग इज कि आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कैसा है, ये वो चीज डिफाइन करती है। बाय द वे, अगला जो लूनर इक्लिप्स होगा वो इंडिया से होगा, जो कि पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स होगा। सो उसके लिए भी रेडी रहना। हम ट्राई करेंगे कि पेनुम्ब्रल लूनर इक्लिप्स आपको इंडिया से दिखाए। हमारे खुद के इक्विपमेंट्स के थ्रू ये तो दूर इक्लिप्सेस होते हैं, तो पॉसिबल नहीं है कि हम हमारे इक्विपमेंट्स यूज़ करें। लेकिन अगली बार हम ट्राई करेंगे कि आपको हमारा जो इक्विपमेंट्स है उसके थ्रू इक्लिप्स दिखाए। सो उसके लिए जो है वो थोड़ा वेट करना पड़ेगा भाई, क्योंकि वो इक्लिप्सेस जो है, वो इक्लिप्स पेनुम्ब्रा लूनर इक्लिप्स जो है वो इंडिया में होगा, और मज़ा भी आएगा उस इक्लिप्स को देखने के लिए। सो या, स्टे ट्यून भाई, सब्सक्राइब करो चैनल को, क्योंकि अभी तो आपको मैं आप लोगों को पता हो चल ही चुका होगा कि जो यूट्यूब का जो जो भी क्राइटेरिया है वो बढ़ चुका है। वैसे तो हम पहले से भी फुलफिल नहीं कर रहे उस क्राइटेरिया को, लेकिन अब तो और दिक्कत है। एनीवेज, सो आप देख ही सकते हो कि ऐसी ऐसी चीजें किधर क्या चल रहा है और किधर क्या चल रहा है। सो डिफरेंट जगह पे डिफरेंट चीजें चल रही है, एंड हियर वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट, समथिंग अलग, जो नॉर्मल चीज़ों से अलग है। ट्राई टू सब्सक्राइब भाई, सब्सक्राइबर्स बढ़ नहीं रहे हमारे, उतने ही है दोनों चैनल पे। एनीवेज, सो फिलहाल आप देख सकते हो मून के ये सैन डिएगो यूएसए ये आपको दिख रहा है, और ऊपर का ब्लैक पार्ट अभी भी आपको दिख रहा है, क्योंकि अभी तो थोड़ा बहुत जो है वो मून बाकी है, शैडो है अर्थ पे अभी भी। और कुछ घंटों में वो भी निकल जाएगा। अभी कुछ 7:01 यूटीसी पे पेनुम्ब्रेलिटी भी खत्म हो जाएगी। हम एक बार देख लेते कि 7:01 यूटीसी कितना होता है। यूटीसी इन आईएसटी जो कि होगा 12:31 आईएसटी। सो 12:31 आईएसटी तक, 12:30 बजे तक, मतलब अभी से 1 घंटे बाद, क्योंकि 12:22 हो चुके हैं। सो लगभग 1 घंटे बाद जो है वो पूरा मून पेनुम्ब्रेलिटी से भी बाहर आ जाएगा और इक्लिप्स खत्म हो जाएगा। सो टेक्निकली जब तक पेनुम्ब्रेलिटी से बाहर मून नहीं आ जाता तब तक इक्लिप्स जो है वो अज्यूम किया जाता है कि चालू है। So penumbra is till 7:01 UTC, which is 12:31 IST as well. So ये था आज का eclipse, and what do you think about it? Do comment below. Comment box में बताना, ना कि comment live chat में, क्योंकि live chat वाली चीज़ें क्या होती है कि वो you know सिर्फ stream के साथ रहती है, but the things which is which is in comment box, वो थोड़ा, I mean to say, it stays with the creator itself. By the way, let's check how much eclipses we have covered till now. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 eclipses so far we have covered, and this is 19th eclipse which we are covering, which we have covered currently. So yeah, it's interesting though. By the way, we have also covered the closest, like close approach, like the Mars closest approach in India. Let's check whether the closest approach would be this year or not. So next closest approach of Mars would be in 2027. Okay, so the Mars would be at its aphelion. That is why this is the most farthest, like approach of the Mars itself. And in September 2035, the Mars will give extra close approach. So interesting though. Interesting. actually why these things like these streams and all this stuff is like closer to me is actually I still remember those times when I still have that mobile. Actually, during the starting of this YouTube channel 4 years ago, probably, I used to stream the eclipses using my older mobile phone, and the thing was the mobile, वो जो mobile गर्म होता था, was like bloody hot thing. So yeah, that was the thing due to which like I used to say, "Arey, let's do like let's do something different and all that stuff." Okay, so their eclipse
Time and date. We look
their
up into the
stream has
sky.
been ended.
We bring you
जो
exclusive.
टाइम एंड डेट की स्ट्रीम है वो खत्म हो चुकी है और अब हमारी भी स्ट्रीम एंड ही कर देते हैं. 11:30 हो चुके हैं. काफ़ी ठीक ठाक स्ट्रीम की हमने. सो चलिए इस वीडियो में इतना ही, इस लाइव स्ट्रीम में इतना ही. मिलेंगे वापस 6 फरवरी 2026 को. मिलेंगे अगले इक्लिप्स यानी एन्यूलर सोलर इक्लिप्स में. तब तक के लिए जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम, गुड बाय.